Hello guys, welcome to my channel Mystery Recap. Today I'm going to explain 2001 action-adventure romance movie called A Knight's Tale. In 14th century Europe, jousting has become the most popular sport enjoyed by nobles and peasants alike, even if only knights can join. One day squires William Roland and Watt find their lead character dead after taking a few blows during a jousting tournament. This is obviously bad news since it leaves them jobless, but they also have not eaten in 3 days. So they're desperate for some money. The organizers of the tournament still don't know about actor's death, which gives Williams an idea. He will pretend to be actor and finish the competition. He's always wanted to be a jousting knight and he is helped actor trained in the past, so he knows how to fight. By keeping the helmet on at all times, nobody will be able to tell the difference. Roland is not the biggest fan of the idea at first, but both he and Watt decide to help anyway and see what happens. During the tournament, William surprises everyone with a smooth victory, earning him an expensive gold feather as a prize. Later, the trio sells the feather and divides the money equally among them. However, William gets an idea and takes the money back, leaving his friends with only 1 coin each. He thinks they can keep up the farce and become champions, so the money should be invested in equipment to win even more. Roland and Watt don't like the idea and even fight William to get their money back. But William does not give up and eventually convinces the good in their hearts to help him out. The trio buys new equipment and spends the time leading to the next tournament training hard. Only William does not miss a single hit. A month later, they are on the road traveling to the nearest competition when they come across a naked man. It's famous writer Geoffrey Chaucer, who has recently been robed. William introduces himself as Sir Ulrich, but Geoffrey can see through his lie and offers a deal. If they share some food and clothes with him, he will forge a patent of nobility that William can use to enter the next tournament. The trio is hesitant to trust Geoffrey, but they don't have much of a choice. So they accept the deal while Watt makes sure to threaten Geoffrey with extreme violence if he dares to betray them. Once they make it to town, they are relieved to find the fake patent of nobility is accepted by the organizers, and William decides to hire Geoffrey as his herald. While waiting for his turn, William sees Lady Jousting in the crowd and instantly falls in love with her, wanting to talk to her. He follows her around town, but she refuses to tell him her name. William is eventually kicked out when Jousting enters the church and he tries to do the same while still on a horse. Afterward, William easily wins his first match, but he is starting to worry about the state of his armor. Suddenly, he is interrupted by the man in charge of the local gambling circuit, who tell him he needs to pay up for his employee. It turns out Geoffrey was never robbed. He actually has a gambling problem, and he will be killed if his league doesn't pay. Ignoring Watt's furious reaction, William tells the man to let Geoffrey go, promising to pay after winning the tournament. Afterward, William also joined the sword combats, winning there as well, and giving Geoffrey the chance to hype him up for the public by using his creative way with words. William's skill proves to be true and he wins the sword competition, so now he can go back to the jousting matches. He has winning there as well, but his armor gets damaged and none of the blacksmiths will accept a promise of payment to fix it. Not even blacksmith Kate will do it. But William has heard what the others think of a female blacksmith. Thus he convinces her to fix his armor when he implies that the rest of the blacksmiths thought she could not because she is a girl. Among the people enjoying the jousting matches are Jocelyn and her lady-in-waiting Christiana, and they are approached by jousting champion Count Adhemar, who is also interested in Jocelyn. After boasting about his army currently fighting in France and the fact he will never be unhorsed, Adhemar explains the rule of jousting to Jocelyn, pointing out that different heads are given different amounts of points. Their conversation is interrupted by William, who comes to talk to Jocelyn to impress her with some poetry Geoffrey just taught him. Unfortunately, Adhemar humiliates him in front of everyone, so William has to leave in shame. Before the next match, Geoffrey announces William with lot of fanfare, making up stories about his great feats. William fights excellently, but Adhemar tells Jocelyn that he has no style or technique too. he admits not protecting his eyes properly makes him fearless. William's opponent is hurt and knows he is already lost, but he never not finished a match before. He would like to finish with his honor intact. Taking pity on him, William accepts this and their last run is a tie on purpose. The opponent withdraws and William advances. Admirer thinks not finishing his opponent makes William weak, but Jousting sees it as a great demonstration of mercy. Later in the evening, Admirer sends Jousting a message saying he will win this tournament for her. But he doesn't care because she knows he wins things for his own ego and that he prefers women to be silent. She is more impressed by the fact William is the only knight that has not promised to win for her, so maybe she might allow him to win her heart. The next day, Jousting sends her pashmina to William as a token of good luck and even allows Christiana to finally tell him her name. William's final match is against Admirer. And while he begins by winning the most points, Admirer decides to finish him by taking advantage of William's lack of protecting his face and hits him on the head, knocking him out. While unconscious, William remembers the days when he was a little kid, watching knights and wishing to become one. Most people thought it was impossible for a peasant, but his father John encouraged him to believe in his dreams. When he wakes up, William finds Admirer picking up Jousting's pashmina and before taking it to her, he challenges William to seek him in the future after he trains more. William still won the sword tournament, meaning he receives a good prize that allows him to pay the gamblers and Kate. Speaking of Kate, she points out that William has been wearing armor that was not made specifically for him and offers to make him a new one in exchange for them taking her to Paris. William turns her down, eager to leave, but Christiana shows up to confirm he will attend the banquet because Jousting wants to dress matching his colors. This makes William quickly change his mind about leaving, and after saying he will be wearing green, the group gets down to work. Roland will prepare William's clothes while Geoffrey teaches him how to dance. Sadly, the classes are not going well, so when Kate finds them arguing, William apologizes to her and convinces her to teach them better. During the banquet, William gets to chat with Jousting and recite more poetry to her. Admirer tries to humiliate him again by insinuating he can only dance like a countryside peasant. But William shows his move and easily fits in the dance party, leaving Admirer very frustrated. The next day, Kate has customized armor ready for William, and she has even marked it with her own logo. William is unsure because he thinks the armor is too light and small, but Kate explains she has found a new way to reheat metal. This helps the armor be lighter to wear but is still as strong. The men don't believe her, so they run a test, getting incredibly impressed when William is hit yet does not feel a thing. A week later, William joins another tournament. People laugh at his small thin armor, but he quickly proves wrong when he easily wins his first match. Jocelyn is there watching and Admirer has begun to participate as well. But he withdraws when he learns that his opponent is Prince Edward in disguise. Geoffrey hears about this and advises William to withdraw as well to avoid getting in trouble with the king. But William notices how disappointed Edward is because nobody will fight him and decides to go against him anyway. In between runs, William tells Edward he knows who he is, and Edward is impressed that he is still decided to ride against a prince. It's Williams who wins the tournament, yet he is in a bad mood because he did not get to beat Admirer. This caused him to snap at Jocelyn when she comes by to invite him to the banquet, so Jocelyn leaves upset, thinking he is a twat. Weeks pass as William continues participating and winning tournaments all over the place. But he still does not get to go against Admirer because he was called away to the Battle of Poitiers. But even in the middle of war, Admirer asks for news about the tournaments, growing increasingly angry when he sees William is winning them all. A month passes without seeing Jocelyn, causing William to write a letter to try to win her back. He is not very good with words, so Geoffrey fills it with his own poetry and the feelings their friends share about their old loves. Ward's the one in charge of taking the letter to Jocelyn, who finds herself crying in awe at such sweet words. The next day, Ward returns to the group with a message from Jocelyn for William. She promises to come to Paris to see him joust and sends him a light kiss on the lips for good luck. Later, Geoffrey decides that since Admirer won't be participating in this tournament, either they could gamble on William's victory. In the meantime, William meets with Jousting at the local church. Unfortunately, Jousting quickly gets disappointed. She had been expecting more poetry, but instead William promises to win the tournament for her like all knights always like to do. Tired of the charade, Jousting gives him an ultimatum. If he wants to prove his love for her, William must lose in her name. Furious at such a request, William storms out of the church, refusing to be a loser. However, when the tournament begins, William changes his mind and begins losing on purpose. This drives his friend mad, thinking he is insane for getting hurt over a woman and worrying about their bets. But William ignores them. Fortunately, his stubbornness pays off. Jocelyn finally believes his love is true, and between matches, she sends Christiana to tell William he should win the tournament for her. William does exactly that, earning Geoffrey a bag full of coins for his bets. In the evening, Jocelyn visits William in his tent after he missed the banquet because he is too wounded. She confesses she has learned his real name after Christiana overheard his friends talking, but Jocelyn also promises she does not care where he is from, and the two of them end up spending the night together. A few days later, the group travels to London for the World Championship. Most of them have not been home for a few months, perhaps a couple of years, but for William, it's been 12 long years since he's been here last. He remembers the last day clearly. He was only a child, and John brought him to Acton to be his squire. William to part with his son so he could have a future. William was afraid he would forget how to return home, but John swore he only had to follow his feet. During the tournament opening, William marches with the other knights and enjoys people's admiration of him, even seeing himself in the kids that chant his name. Jocelyn has of course come to see him joust, and Adhemar has finally joined a tournament again. He promises to beat William with no mercy and to win Jocelyn over, claiming to have already initiated negotiations with her father to marry her. After winning all his first day matches, William visits his old neighborhood. With the help of a young fan, he manages to find his dad, who has become blind. At first, William introduces himself as Ulrich, bringing a message for John from his son. But John quickly catches on and proudly beams with happiness when he realizes this is his dear William. After sharing a hug and many tears, father and son share stories over drinks, unaware that Adhemar has been following William and is now watching them from afar. The next morning, while William is getting ready for the tournament, Jousting and Geoffrey come with bad news. Adhemar has learned his true identity and is now waiting with the dozen of royal guards to arrest him in front of everyone. His friends want William to run away, and Jocelyn agrees, saying she would not mind living in poverty as long as they are together. However, William refuses to let them take his pride for him and decides to stay, marching with his head held high and his friends by his side into the arena. As expected, William immediately gets arrested and thrown in jail. Adhemar comes by to take advantage of the situation, repeatedly hitting William while insulting him and making fun of him. Later, William is put on the guillotine, and his friends surround him to try to defend him from the angry crowd that keeps throwing vegetables at him. This confrontation is suddenly interrupted by Prince Edward, who speaks of William as a true knight because of his mercy and his honor. After ordering the guards to release William, Edward explains his historian have found out the boy does not descend from an old noble family and knights him on the spot, officially naming him Sir William. The tournament continues now with the prince and princess watching, but there is no sight of Jocelyn. The final match will be William versus Adhemar, but it does not start well. Adhemar is a cheating child that uses an illegally sharpened lace to stab William on his shoulder. Now William is seriously injured and can barely hold the lance, allowing Adhemar to win many extra points. Adhemar also continues to taunt him, but William gains hope when she sees Jocelyn arrive with John. Desperate to win no matter what, William decides to ditch his armor in order to breathe more easily and asks Ward to tie the lance to his arm. Before the final run, Geoffrey realizes to never did an introduction, so he offers one more speech to hype up the crowd by reminding them today a commoner will defeat a noble. Because of the point difference, William can only do one thing to win this match: unhorse Adhemar. It is the most difficult jousting move, but William is determined and he writes screaming his real name as he hits Adrimer with his lance. His techniques prove to be true and Adrimer falls to the ground, winning Williams the World Championship. As John cries happy tears and Jousting meets William in the middle of the arena to celebrate with a kiss. Jeffrey decides he will write about William's rise to knighthood. This would become the first short story in the Canterbury Tales. The movie ends here. Thanks for watching. If you like it, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel.